Guys, welcome aboard. Welcome, great to have you. Just going to test to make sure we're live. If you're watching on YouTube, great to see you again. Do remember to subscribe, like, share, comment underneath. And you can get my free training whether you're watching on TradingView or YouTube. It's just underneath the stream. https://bit.ly/wills BPA. Wills Be Profitable Academy. If you don't know me, I'm Will Sebastian. I'm a private multi-asset day trader and mentor. I teach people all around the world how to day trade, intraday trade, invest their money, and swing trade. Whichever way you want to go, I'm suited to it. Of course, if you're coming in, lots of guys are, press that boost button for me, please. It helps me a ton. Really appreciate it every time lots of people press it, which is really, really helpful. Thank you so much for that. It just brings me up higher in the ranks. So yeah, that helps because people see it, they go, all right, well, perhaps he takes a bit of time with what he does and he knows what he's talking about a bit, and perhaps I should watch it as well. And it's a mutual reciprocation. So whether that's YouTube or TradingView, do remember to do that. So today we've got, and I'm just going to drag it to the other side, left to right. We've got Governor Bailey's speech going on right now, so you might see some movement on pounds slash the FTSE. The FTSE's rebounded a lot from where we shorted it yesterday. So it'll be interesting to see what Governor Bailey for the Bank of England says. And also we've got Michigan Consumer Sentiment Index October preliminary results. We've got ECB President Lagarde speech, and then you've got Fed talk speech as well. So the majority of the news comes about 5 hours time, but it's good to be prepared for it anyway. Tons of guys coming in here. I'm going to give everyone 1 more minute just to get their bums on the seat and get a coffee, notepad, whatever you need. I always have a notebook next to me so I can write what I need to think about down, and that way I don't forget. I'm going to cover most assets today, things we looked at this week and things I'm looking at for the next week. There's a lot going on geopolitically, mostly for the wrong reasons. Unfortunately, most of you can see that unfolding. I wouldn't be surprised if today that shocks markets all going into next week via the weekend. So it's a really good time to plan. There's economic news, obviously, as well. So we're going to go over all of it, and we're going to see where we end up. If you are just coming in, I will say once again, if you're watching on YouTube, wherever, press the like button and then put a question in the chat box or the comments, wherever you are. Smash the like button. Thank you. Free training as well, it's underneath the video. So I'm going to kick things off as I'm about 3 minutes in. I think it's long enough for people to come in the door. Lots of people come in late and they also rewatch this. So if you are rewatching it, then you can do the same things I just mentioned, like, comment, share. Let's go ahead. So gold, many of you will know, and if you watched me yesterday on my stream, called it long, okay, and it kept going. You might have dip bought this, or you might have just bought it on the way down with DCA entries, and you exited them as the price came up like this. So eventually you came up here yesterday. We said, all right, well, we want to kill that off for gains. You will remember, if you watched me yesterday, I said specifically the following. I said to you, okay, here's what it was yesterday morning. I said, I don't think we're going to get much further. I think you should exit there. That's exactly what happened. How did I know that? Well, I didn't know it for sure, but after trading for a long time, teaching a lot of people, you get used to what looks strong and what looks weak, okay? You hit on early resistance, early support at this point, 1868, and you're flying back up. Now, you'll also remember I said I wouldn't be shocked if you get over 1900 and you get up here. My bias remains. I think that's quite likely. I think you'll go past that candle wick. Now, I wouldn't buy, okay? I wouldn't be buying, because if you're buying, you're doing it in an area where people have previously started to sell. It makes absolutely no sense. Although I do think there's potential for the market to rise like this, okay, it doesn't mean I'm going to buy it. It means I'm going to let it move and I'm going to see what happens, okay? There's a lot of value in waiting to see what happens, because it stops you being the one who goes through the door first and gets shot, okay? Stops you being the first seal that jumps off the iceberg gets eaten. Um, it's always good to be the second mouse that gets the cheese, as I would say in many cases. A lot of the time, it's the early bird gets the worm. But if you can let someone else just run through and show you, is there rejection in the market? Is there anything valid here? It stops you having to do it yourself. So anything up here, I would really say is a further short. You've got these key moving averages curling over your 20 and your 40. Retracement up to this point would be very fair, I think, on your daily. And of course, it coincides with your long-term downtrend. Remember, people are losing enthusiasm on gold. Okay, the money is coming out of gold into the US dollar. Hence, why you're seeing the value of gold drop. Now, the value of gold will not drop like this in one line, where it's very unlikely that would occur. That is why markets do this. Because one minute people want to buy it, and they want to sell it, they want to buy it, they want to sell it, they want to buy it, they want to sell it. And it tends to create an oscillation. As I always say, if you're not trading the markets the way they naturally move, you are just completely on the wrong footing. You have to do it in an oscillation. It has and always will be movement like this. There's no getting away from it. You will just have to accept the market is going to move like a snake wading through the grass. Okay? And it just looks like this. And it's continuous, it's a continuum. So I think you get the point. Drawing's a bit ugly, but the point is markets oscillate, which means you can buy and you can sell in between those oscillations. That is the goal of traders. When do you buy, when do you sell, and how much do you do it? What proportion do you buy and sell it? And that's the point of risk management. That's why risk management makes such a big part of everything I do, because you have to master it. Okay, and that's why I've just written a new series for my paid members. If you're not on board, of course, check your email because I send out emails for people to come on board with bonuses as well. Especially for people who view me a lot. If you've sat here for months and you just will not pull the trigger, I'm afraid it's going to be hard for you to get success because you're trying on your own effectively. Yes, I'm telling you what I think the price is going to do, but nonetheless, it's not going to make you a professional. It's not going to get you anywhere. You won't get anywhere doing no work. I'm afraid that is the case. Luckily, there are many people who are watching me now who have paid me and who are on board my academy. And of course, if they're stuck at any time, they press direct message, they type a few words, I answer practically straight away. I've been teaching people for years. So the FTSE is a really good example of price action. I took it short yesterday. I didn't exit because I'm holding for swing shorts down to this point at least, I would say. Stochastic oscillator's way up, right? And it's just an example of an indice market. I will go over other ones, but the FTSE is a good example at the moment. Short there, short there. What would your bias be here? You've seen it going sideways for a significant period of time. Why would you change your bias? Why would you say it's not going to do that or it's not likely to do that again, given it's happened so many times? You've got to understand the probability and variance of trading markets. Again, if you're a paid member, I just did a whole thing on that. Go and look at it because it teaches you a lot. And even better, it's written as well. So you don't have to watch a video if you don't want to. I'm short the FTSE and I'm short all indexes. I'm short. I think you're going to get lower on your S&P. I'd be a little bit careful with that because the drop you experienced, like to the FTSE, wasn't very far. But that's a very meager attempt at a rebound. I did do a post the other day on this. I would only scale in further with DCA entries up there. So if you're holding it short, that's fine. Hold it short. Wouldn't re-enter until 4,500 at least. I think it's only ever going to be one of the two. So UK100, S&P 500, the AUS200. I'm just brushing over indice markets. I've got them all short. CAC 40. Do a video on the CAC 40 later, I think. It's a weekly candle. It tries to push up, and almost immediately you're assaulted by the vast amount of resistance, okay, which is a big problem if you're waiting for price to go up. Hence, you shouldn't be holding any longs. Okay, so I'm short the AUS200. I like the other indexes. I'm also short the CAC 40. I'm also short Japanese 225. Okay, and there's a lot of instability on various indice markets. Japan 225, like your S&P, has come up significantly. It's trying with a monthly push. I don't think you're going to get much out of it. Or at least long term, I think all indexes will fall. I don't think we're out of the woods on the global economy. I don't think we're anywhere near. I think everyone is very much misled on thinking everything is fine. It's not. It's not fine at all. I don't think. I think we're only getting started. So be very careful whatever you're trading. Dollar pairs, very weak push. We shorted it early, or at least my Academy members are using this to their advantage because they know how to handle big drawdowns in markets if they're unsure. Of course, as I always say, if you're watching this and you're in my Academy and you paid me money, put the money to use. Ask me a question. I encourage the questions. I don't shy away. I encourage you to ask. Of course, if you're on this stream, do indeed put a question in the chat box. The chat box is sat there and it's saying questions right now. So there you go. Hopefully someone's woken up. If you're in here, press the boost. Loads of guys are watching now. My free training is underneath the stream. If you're going to ask me where the free training is, how to get on board with my email list so I can send you things that I'm taking, the link is underneath the stream. Scroll down there. If you want to follow me on all socials, I post a lot there too. Questions in the chat box, guys. Do ask me something. But yeah, I think there's a good chance and a good case for your euro dollar getting lower, your pound dollar getting lower. Like I said, I don't think the global economy is out of the woods. I think people are still going to flock to the dollar in attempt to get safety. That looks ideal for support. That's where I would only long further. Until then, I'm hedge short. Let's have a look at your pound dollar. And I've still got many longs that I can take. So you've got pound dollar in the same boat. Don't you think that if this was going to push up, it would have done it? But you think this candle would have been much more bullish if there was strength? I certainly do. I think, like to euro, ultimately you'll get down here. Okay, that's why I'm spreading my longs for the very long-term market. So I can long there, I can long there, and I can long there if I need to. At last, Usha Al-Niadi has asked me in regards to the Nasdaq. I can absolutely cover the Nasdaq. Thank you for asking. Called it short. You've had very minor rebounds. If you had it short, it doesn't look too convincing. I think long term you will get down there. If you're going to short it now, you're probably too late to do it. I'd only short on a push up slightly, maybe 15,400 might be ideal. It's just teetering around. I think ultimately you're going to get a big move at some point because what you've seen here is very, very boring and slow. I think ultimately you'll go down. If you haven't entered it yet, I would probably like it higher. Okay, so just hold off for shorts. If you haven't taken it short already, nonetheless, my bias, I like all indexes. I think you're going to go down. This especially, and that is very convincing for a short. So if you did short it now, I mean, it might take a while unless you get really harsh news this weekend or even today with the Michigan consumer sentiment or anything else. I think we're going to go down. Same with all indexes. Oh, a really good question here from an Academy member. Just going to bring it up. Thanks. Bartle here is in my Academy. Morning, Will Pound New Zealand. The trend is reversed back to the upside. Do you see this continuing? So that's a really good question. I'm very glad you asked it, and I'll cover it in full. So, as you'll know, Philip, I hope you don't mind me mentioning your full name. Won't say your second name, but we came up here and obviously you shorted it. I'm very sure you did. Now, if you just zoom out and you put yourself on the monthly, okay, there's something very classic going on with this market. So we shorted in line with that candle wick. And you'll know, and I know, and everyone who's followed me will know this is sideways. It's going sideways because it can't decide, do I want to go whoop or do I want to go whoop? Okay, market is not doing anything to make that apparent. For 6 years, you've gone sideways. Okay, so I guess to start with, my bias therefore comes with the fact that the market is trending sideways. Okay, naturally, my expectation would be that ultimately, because of this sideways trend for 6 years, okay, the only probable outcome I can infer from that is that we will get down here because markets naturally are range. Okay, said that earlier. Markets move in ranges. Okay, that's why it's gone sideways. It's not an accident, and that is not an accident why we shorted here. Having said that, a lot of the time when markets are trying to fall to the downside, you'll get areas of upside. It won't just happen all at once. And that's what I think you've got again here. I think you're just having a push up within your weekly and daily charts, on your daily, and you're trying to push into this resistance. I think ultimately you'll either go down here or you'll go down there, and like that. But the point is, you have got to, most of the time, if you're going to get a market that is trending like this to the sideways, um, and you're looking to come down here, then it's going to have a bump in the road at some point, especially if you've got support there. I mean, this is all very strong support, so there's absolutely no shock you're bouncing here. Nonetheless, long-term probabilities lie like that. I would add as well that it doesn't really matter whether, as per my method, I'm sure you've got my materials and gone through all the videos. It doesn't really matter whether the trend continues or not. I'm still short. I've shorted the pound New Zealand already, and I'll short it even more. I'm not concerned whether it does get to that point. I'm only planning for it, okay? Because that's all you can do. It doesn't really matter if I think the trend is going to continue up, because I don't know. I don't know. I think it's possible. I don't know. All I can do is trade short at market value, and that's how I can make money long term. I don't need to know specifically whether it's going to happen. What I would also add is that when you come to this point, you're hitting on early weekly resistance. Okay, so I wouldn't be shocked if it struggles now. If it gets through here, I think you'll come up higher and then down. But like I said, if you want to make money trading, it never is about whether you think or know that is going to occur. Um, because your job is to trade value anyway. And if you do that, you don't need to know whether it's going to stop there or stop there or in between. Um, as you say, my bias is short but hedging long. I would probably say it's the opposite. It depends when you started trading it, but you should be hedging short. I'm not sure if you're confused with that, but if you bought here and bought there and bought there, this would become a hedge short. You see, if you want to ask me about that privately, we can go over it. It's probably best done there. If you type me the question, I'll reply to you on Discord. It's just because it's a bit more in depth. Hope you don't mind, but I can write you a more detailed reply. I can draw it as well, which will probably help you a bit more. Um, so yeah, thanks for the question though. That's a good one. I'll cover it privately. I think that's best. Um, okay, so oil as well. I'd be very careful with oil, obviously with the Middle East, problems going on at the moment. Um, I think you will probably get to this point. I would be careful trading oil though. I definitely wouldn't add short at this point. It's too early, especially with market sentiment. And if you are going to add short, I would only do it lightly higher up. As I said, the market sentiment is dangerous. If you heavily short and the market just flies up like $150 or $120 a barrel or worse, 144 or worse, going back further than that, not in terms of price, but in terms of the push, then it's going to be difficult. I would add as well, if you look monthly, okay, you've come onto monthly support. It's likely, therefore, if you're going to hit monthly resistance, it may be higher up. So I'm long. I'm still holding long because I'm effectively hedging shorts I took earlier. I'll continue to take gains long if and where and when possible. If you're still in here and you're learning a lot, press the boost button. I've not refreshed the page, that's why it's at 1, but do press that. If you want my free training, as always, it's underneath. And as a reminder, pop the question in the chat box or in the comments underneath if you're watching this back on YouTube. All dollar, New Zealand dollar, looking weak to the downside. I've said for an extreme amount of time now that I think the order's going to go down. I said it here, I said it there, and it's slowly trickling. I think it will continue to go down. I think that is going to be your next point of contention. I think you're going to need to get near a 619. Okay, so I wouldn't really buy it. You're running risk. New Zealand dollar is the same. You can see this candle started to point to the downside with rejection over here. Okay, and it's very important that you are just very careful trading things like this because they're sloping down. There's no strength to the upside. They can continue doing that for a sustained period of time. If, of course, you can't handle the move, you are going to bust. Since I've started this, the FTSE has started to drag again as well. I'm not really shocked. It's at 1 hour support. If it goes sideways for a long time today, it wouldn't shock me either. Indexes, I've said, are short. Crypto, I'm not interested in trading. It's a bit boring. Swiss yen, I've done a lot of posting on this. It still remains a short. Okay, I like it short still. You've had a ton of time to hedge out gains, carve out gains to sustain the up move. Nonetheless, it's a short now. I've done posts on all these yen pairs. It's also a short. The dollar yen, again, be careful because if you can't stay solvent as long as the market is willing to push, you'll lose all your money. That's practically why most traders lose all their money. They have no concept of leverage. They have no concept of risk management. It makes trading impossible as a long-term process. That's why signals don't work, because your size and your exits and entries are never going to be right, and people who post signals anyway usually aren't traders. They're just posting them so you pay them, practically. So don't fall into the trap that trading is a walk in the park. It's not. I'm sorry, that's the way the world is. Or Yen, I'd only short it higher up. CAD yen is a short as well, so all yens are shorts. I'm short pound AUD, I'm short pound New Zealand, I'm short euro AUD, I'm short euro New Zealand, and I'm willing to add to all of those pairs because the higher they get back up, the more my longs that I took previously will be in a lesser drawdown, and the more comfortable I'll be trading that way. Silver is a short, and silver is a short if you come even higher up to this point, probably nearer 24. So, covered a ton of information. Has anyone got any questions? Please do ask. Now is the time. I've covered basically all charts. Of course, if you're serious about trading and you want to actually get things right and stop losing money, get my free training and get on my email list underneath here, and you will soon see how you can trade for income like myself. Okay, something I do every day. So click that and you're on board. Has anybody got any questions? I'm going to leave the floor for a minute just so if anyone wants to ask anything they can. My overall general remarks is that I wouldn't be shocked if market sentiment picks up greatly with everything that's going on. Closing out this week, I've updated various posts and I've just gone over my bias, so that's sorted. 3 o'clock, you've got Michigan consumer sentiment. 2 o'clock, you've got ECB's President Lagarde. His speech, you might say things in there. Just be a little bit careful and potentially protect your positions or take lighter entries as we close out the week. Because, like I said, if it turns out today or over the weekend things change drastically, you really don't want to be caught on the side of it, especially with things like oil or gold. They're heavily sentiment driven, especially in times like now. So be very careful. The short side of indices is suited to what I just said, really. I mean, they're short technically anyway. If you do get something happen, unfortunately, that is going to be, it's going to be very negative for indice markets. Someone just asked for New Zealand dollar. I've already done it. Play the stream back. I would hold off your longs until you get lower. I don't think it's strong enough to buy just at the moment. If you're a paid member, don't forget you can ask me anything you want, anytime you want. Just send me a DM on Discord. There's a few guys who are in my academy who haven't done that yet, so please do get me on Discord. so I can help help me to help you, essentially. If you're not on board, the link is underneath. Like I said, you can get my free training. If you're someone who sat there and is serious about making things work, you're not going to get it unless you put some effort in. So send me a message if you want. Go underneath this stream and you can do that. Thanks for watching, guys. As always, I hope that helps. Trade small, trade safe, and I'll see you in the next one.